Yeah! It's time, baby! He's a very tall man who really loves tunes. Can you climb the mountain? Will you be approved? It's the Mountain Jew Review. It's the Mountain Jew Review. Welcome to the Mountain Jew Review.
Alrighty.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to thank you for joining in for another wonderful episode of the Mountain Jew Review. Mountaineers, we have an exciting interview today. It's going to be part of our first group interview where they're not in a group together. We have Mr. Red of the Black Market Warriors.
Yeah, I'm the one on the right there. I'm the bald one.
This guy, we had Mr. White on a couple episodes back.
Yeah.
I'm decked out in my Black Market Warrior gear. I got my jersey, my hat. Well, actually, it's my wife's hat because it's pink. I mean,
Yeah.
real men wear pink, but it's also I opted for the stocking cap, and she got the hat. My old man got a hat, so
Yeah.
we're all rocking it. Let's just freaking jump right in, and because I mean, I can guess and kind of know a bit about your background just because I know Mr. White and I've listened to your music. But for new guys, because obviously when we get Black Market Warriors up here, we get just Mr. White the last few shows because he's been a little bit of a solo act.
He's always been that way. I don't like performing as much as he does, so he'll make the trip for a 10-15 minute set, and I'm just like I can't do it. I make music for the love of making music, where he makes music to transition into being able to perform that music a lot of times, and that's
I know some of his favorite songs aren't your favorite songs.
That's Nathan. We usually share a lot of the same similar songs, the more upbeat ones. Lord Four Eyes, sorry.
Lord Four Eyes, he's on the offensive.
Yeah, he's the offensive one. He's
literally, that's the album title, guys. No, it's not that he's offensive. It's just that's the album title.
The one you got pulled up there is Bad Vibes for Good Times, and I got to come up with the.
You mean good vibes for bad times?
Yeah, what I say, bad times. I don't know.
You don't even know the name of your own album.
But I got to pick the name for that, and I got to pick all the artwork, and I commissioned it and stuff, and the whole The whole
This was actually the first Black Market Warrior CD I'd got on Bandcamp.
I mean, yeah, I don't know where he has it all. He just
I,
kind of
I
does.
only buy on Bandcamp and physicals, and then just listen on Spotify. But I remember buying it a few years back on Bandcamp just because I wanted it, and then
Yeah,
eventually I bought it all.
I've always I'm different than most people when it comes to making music. A lot of people are about trying to get to the next level or get this or get that, and I'm in it to give. I want to be able to give my message, and if it can make somebody's night, make somebody laugh, somebody's back at the bar or whatever venue just being grumpy, and you
The
see
fat
some
kid dance is always fun.
yeah, you see some fat kid dancing up on you, and it makes you smile, and it makes your night just a little bit better. That's all I'm after is just to make your night just a little bit better. It doesn't even have to be a marketable difference, but if I can make you laugh or smile, that's why I like performing. But I don't like all the red carpet, and I have a hard time pretending to like people. So if I don't like your music, I can like the person, but if I don't like the music, I have a hard time complimenting the music.
Yep.
And so I'll use choice words like, yeah, I like the way you were. I like your stage performance, and I'll use backdoor compliments. But I have a really hard time pretending to like people, and
I
so that's why uh, Mr. White Curtis is the front man. He's the one who shakes babies and kisses hands. So, and I'm more behind the scenes. I produce. I make the beats, and I master the tracks as well as I can. I don't know how it ends up coming off, but that's.
like them, so maybe that counts for something. Like
I mean, I know I appreciate when somebody genuinely likes the music. When this album first came out, I was super bummed because it didn't get any play.
so out of the local CDs that my mom has been given, because a lot of you mountaineers and everybody out there, they all know my mom. My mom loves coming to the local shows. She's got 17 CDs now over the past summer, and out of the 17, it is Smoke Breaks, newest one with my face on it, Mr. Gates, Empath Trifecta, and this one are the three that she lists. In fact, about a month ago, I posted a video of her singing.
Yeah,
The,
I seen that,
you
but
know,
it
she digs it. Like she's really into it. You know, and it makes her smile every time she plays your music. So
it
you're doing what
that
you set out for.
that's exactly it. But it just when it first came out, I was super bummed because it got no traction, got no love from your area up in Omaha, and it kind of made me disillusioned about the whole Omaha scene, and like
Yep.
you're kind of seeing a resurgence where it's not a single click kind of streamlining everything, and people are starting to branch off again because whenever you have a single person doing everything, you start creating a monopoly, and it makes it hard for
Yep.
other people to do anything up there.
Because there's too
So
many lines drawn in the sand at that point.
yeah, and it's kind of always like that. It's like waves. You'll see a big wave build up, and then it'll crash, and everything will get separated. And I mean, I've seen it. I've been doing music for '07, so I think we started really kind of making music and performing a lot a couple years after that, something like that. I can't remember the timelines because I come in and out a lot because, like I said, I get disillusioned a lot by the scenes, and I'm just like, I don't. I'll keep writing, I'll keep making music, but I don't want to do anything for anybody at that point. And Curtis has always kind of held strong to his belief, and he's always kind of chugged along and done his own thing, and I appreciate him for that. So whenever I hop back in, I can kind of.
There's always something in that blurry background, Phil.
As my Switch, Nintendo. But I've always appreciated him having that audience because I can always come in and kind of glom off of it and like, hey, it's Mr. White and this other kid who's always with him, and I'm socially awkward, so I'm just like, yeah, cool, yeah. So I've always let him be the face of it. Back when I drank, I was better, but I don't drink anymore.
Same boat. It's been almost 4 years for me.
Because there would be this sweet spot where I'd be able to perform, do really good, get off the stage and be able to be sociable and stuff. And then it depended on how late Curtis would put us on because it'd be his shows he'd book. Excuse me. And so if it'd be like we're closing, like by that time I'd be obliterated, be like a 30-pack in, and like he would be obliterated and we'd be like falling off the stage because we'd try to keep up with each other, and it was just bad. So I've
heard some of them stories.
I don't drink anymore, so it's kind of one of those things. I'm in it for the pure love of performing, but like once I get off the stage, I have a hard time just being like, oh yeah, hi, let's be friends and stuff. So if it makes me sound like an asshole and jaded and shit, but it is what it is. I try to be honest with myself mainly, and then I try to put that out into the world because it just I don't feel like there's any profit to be disingenuous. So I try to be genuine with everybody and give them my genuine feelings about how I feel. And if I can't do that, I just try to remove myself from it.
I hear you there. So let's touch in then. We haven't even got to it. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
I'm born and raised Red Oak. I mean, I was born in Council Bluffs, Jenny Ed, but I lived in Red Oak 90% of my life. Then I moved a couple of years ago, first time in my life. So,
yeah, I was born in Sioux City. I'm an Iowa baby. Moved to Omaha when I was like 5, but my entire family mostly from Iowa, North Dakota, and California. Yay! Yeah. So 712 baby.
Yeah.
What age did you start getting into music?
My mom, when I was getting cranky when I was a baby, the only way she could get me to go to sleep is to sing Signs. Sing Signs. I don't want to get us copyrighted, but she would sing that to put me to sleep, and a couple other like old classic 80s, 90s songs. So it was kind of, that's where that love came from. And then let's see, 2000s, it was Bloodhound Gang. I asked my mom for the Bloodhound Gang CD, Hooray for Boobies, I believe it was.
Yep, that's a great album.
I was 12 years old and heard a song about vagina, and she was like, "Is that a song about vaginas?" I'm like, "Yeah." She just looks in, shakes her head, and goes on. My mom's
kind of hard to find a rhyme with vagina. Yeah. If you guys don't know Bloodhound Gangs, go look them up. They're more than nothing but mammals.
But and then from there, I think it started hitting Psychopathic really hard, and that's when me and Curtis really started clicking a lot. And let's see, and then from there, I guess my music taste just kind of got weirder and weirder, and like it comes out kind of weird in my music, but you can kind of see the influences there. But I'm not very good at portraying them because I'm garbage. But like I'll listen to about anything. The only thing I don't like is like gospel music, like the ooh, that kind of stuff. But I don't mind some Christian rock and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I don't try to pigeonhole myself into a single thing. But I mean, that's where it started, I'd say. But like Curtis said in his interview, it all started with ICP, us doing music. It was like, these clowns can do it, we can do it.
So
And
again with Curtis, then your first recording was with Curtis.
yeah, we've been
with
together.
Mr. White.
We've been together since day one, so it's we've been friends, good friends since we were like 13. We'd walk the streets just being little hooligans, carrying pocket knives. We called our gang small town homies. We just a bunch of idiots. We'd spray paint schools and stuff.
Now all I can think of is that movie White Boys, where it's about the rappers that go to Chicago. And,
yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Cyril had said that too, and I kind of thought about that. Or AP, Rowdy Jesus, had said that, and I said that, and he kind of got offended. I said, no, not like the whole fake thing, but just kind of, I just picture that out in the cornfields.
Oh, we were definitely fake wannabes.
If you guys have never seen the movie White Boys, go look it up. Dougie Fresh is in it, a whole bunch of old school rappers, and it's just kind of cringeworthy.
Yeah, it definitely is. I remember watching that years and years ago, and
I think it came out in like 2005, 2006, maybe even earlier than that.
Me and Curtis watched it together, and we laughed because it was really reminiscent of what we were doing at the time. And
even in Omaha, it made you feel like that when you watched it, because especially when it came out, Omaha wasn't nearly as big as it is, because back then, if you were past 108th, you were out west. Now it's like 180th, you're considered out west. So it was watching that movie, you kind of felt like, man, maybe I shouldn't listen to Insane Clown Posse no more. That's dope that you and Mr. White have been basically a trio for 20 years now. I mean, 2007, so.
We were doing it before that, but our first professional recording was 2007. Professional with air quotes, because I've never been in a professional studio. It's always been somebody's basement or somebody's spare bedroom or something. So I mean, Curtis has been to a few higher scale studios, but it's just, I don't know. I know the whole thing is you're supposed to be invested in yourself and stuff, but it's just I'm not trying to crap on anybody's dream, but it's in Reddick alone, there's 12 rappers and a population of 4,000, and just by statistics, 1 out of a million rappers make it. And I'm just I'm not gonna waste my time trying to make something happen when I'm not even the best in this town. So I mean, it's a cruel and unusual thing to say, but it's just the way it is. You just
gotta be facts. Not everybody's gonna blow up.
Yeah, no, and I mean I appreciate the people who do, but it's just,
and it's an expensive hobby. I mean, that's why sometimes it is nice to have a little bit of support, because it does cost a little bit to invest in some of the stuff. Actually getting you guys came up with a cool, because I know the story behind it. I kind of want to dive into the argument between physical and digital on the good vibes for bad times, because I actually still have my digital code, my stickers on my desk.
Somebody just stole it.
That's all right. I hope somebody steals it, because it's not stealing it. I just gave it to the first person to download it. You're welcome.
I was kind of... Oh, sorry.
But I just want to ask, what was your leaning towards wanting to stay away from physicals on that? You just didn't think they'd sell, or?
No, I knew they would sell, but it's just, everybody does physicals, and it's like I either wanted to do that or USB sticks, and USB sticks were like $5 a pop, and those were only like 50 cents a pop.
Especially back in the day, USBs were a little. Now you can get them cheaper. They're freaking a dime a dozen on them. But when this came out, USBs were just actually starting to pop out.
Yeah, and so those were my
put that into a time frame, guys. Just so you're like, oh, USBs, merch by Marcus got them for $1 something. What do you mean $5?
It was about 2 years ago when that came out.
Yeah. Maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. But
yeah. So I mean, they were just Evil Squad just popped theirs out back then, you know. Yeah. So it was a relatively new thing a few years back. You know, but I like the idea of it being a sticker. I thought that was cool because at first I was like, oh, that's a nice sticker. It's the album sticker, and then Curtis is like, dude, it's the album, and I'm like, where the fuck's the album at? And then he's like, it's a code. I was like, now that's cool as shit.
I felt the CD baby. That's where we got it pressed up. I felt their execution of the digital download was kind of clunky. I wish you could get a more streamlined URL for it and just make it better. But overall, I like the idea. And
yeah, I was gonna say again, guys, I have not downloaded that code. If you steal it, nobody's gonna be mad, except for the guy that tries to use it after you.
I mean, nobody wants the album, obviously, but my last show I did with Curtis, I'm like, just start moving them, dude. I'm like, somebody buys a physical album, offer a digital for like $1, just get them moving. Because we've been sitting on, but I think I got like 100 copies for like $60, so that's 60 cents.
Well, and that's
units.
Less than $1 for a cool sticker. I mean, it's the size of a CD case, guys. It's take a little trip here to get dizzy. I mean, it's a nice sticker. It's not
it's well made and everything. And I was super proud of this album. I spent months getting it streamlined, and it just kind of flopped. And it made me, more than anything, it just made me angry because I invested all that time, and then you started streaming it, and you're like, I like this music, let's do this, and so that kind of gave me a refreshed feeling for it, and I'm like, I'm glad somebody actually enjoyed the album. And I mean, I know every track on it isn't great, but there's some really good tracks on it, and that I'm like super proud of. And then there's some other tracks that I kind of phoned it in there towards the end, and I can hear the lack of production in it, and it just kind of bums me out. But it's just, overall, I'm super proud of it.
It's definitely my favorite Black Market Warriors album.
Ouch.
No offense, Mr. Red Eye. But well, it's just the one I listen to the most. Honestly, it has the most tracks on it that I like the most out of them all. It's not like I don't like Offensive, because I clearly, the Spotify numbers show somebody's been playing it, and I guarantee you that somebody's.
But I like some of the tracks off of Offensive, but I mean, there's a couple of tracks I don't like off of Offensive, and I've sat Nathan down and I've explained why I don't like it, but that's coming back to just trying to be genuine. When we started this album, I sat him down and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna have you phone it in, and I think that kind of took some wind out of his sail, and I'm thinking maybe that's what kept him away from it, or maybe just a new relationship or whatever. But it's like I changed my flow a lot from this one, but while we were doing this, I wrote an entire solo album, and I have beats, almost an entire like EP.
That's kind of funny, because you literally just answered what I was about to ask next, because I know Mr. White has done some solo projects. He got a couple of them out, just singles and stuff, and he's been working on some things. And I was just about to ask if you were ever in the idea of doing your own solo project, and you just answered it.
But yeah, no, I have all this stuff compiled, but I don't have anything recorded except one track, and it's on like Reverb Nation or like a SoundCloud or something like that. And it's called Dear Mom, and it's a song dedicated to my mom. And it's more somber than the normal Black Market Warriors. I keep the upbeat and fun stuff for Black Market Warriors, but when I really have something to get off my chest, I'll write a song for it. And so I mean, I have it right here, not the album, but I have like a album track list somewhere. But it's the yeah. So I have like 12 songs on here. I don't know if you can kind of, yeah.
Nope.
It's not going to come through, but it's all about like shit I went through as a kid. Like I went through some bad stuff, and then like song dedicated to my mom, and a song dedicated to my brother, my girlfriend, my son, just personal stuff that I want to make the message about. I told you the name, right? Melancholics Anonymous.
Nope.
That's going to be the name of it when I finally get around to it. But the reason I haven't started recording in earnest is because I'm too critical of myself when it comes to my own stuff. So I sit there.
You're your worst critic.
So I sit there and I dissect it, and I'll record the same thing like 20 times, and it's just I want to make the album, I really do, but it's just I can't muster up the energy, and sometimes that's all it is. You just can't bring the energy to the forefront. And if I'm gonna say anything to anybody, it's just like, it's okay to not be constantly producing music. Just I'd rather have a good track come out and post a whole album of garbage. And that's first and foremost. Make music you're proud of, not nothing else. And I mean, if
You
you're
don't
proud,
have to have a song a day, you know.
I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But as long as you got to be proud of what you're doing, and no matter how critical you are of yourself, you need to be objective and just be like, okay, I am proud of this, and this is a goodish song. I don't ever think anything we make is good, but that's kind of because we don't have any critical appeal. Everybody's trap rapping or the Amigo style, and we're kind of more 80s whatever. And the only other person that I know doing that up in Omaha right now is Microphone Elements. We had them on that album, and I love Microphone Elements.
With my interview with Mr. Comatose, I did a custom. I'd commissioned Kevin Heekseeder, who did Foul Uprising, a local movie. I had asked him. I'd come up with the concept of like Mick Foley's face, the three faces of Mick Foley, because Comatose, Sam Roca, has Comatose, the Greasy Old Man Syndicate, Old Man Rap Syndicate, and then he has Microphone Elements.
Yeah.
So what I did is he did a Comatose, Old Man Rap Syndicate, and Microphone Elements on a nice canvas painting for Sam, and I unveiled it during our interview for Sam because that's how much in love I am with Comatose and Microphone Elements, and I would love to have Mr. David Zorko on one day from Battered.
Oh, dude, I bet he would love that. I love Dave. Anytime I get a chance to do anything with Microphone Elements, I try to hop on that as fast as possible, but
they just seem like they have so much fun doing it. They just seem like they're just packed full of energy. I mean, in fact, Hands off to you guys because Microphone Elements was on with you guys. I had no idea that was actually Sam Roca.
And Dave.
And like, so I'm like, man, this guy kind of sounds like Comatose, but you know, it wasn't all like slash killer shit, so I didn't think it was. And then when I found out Sam was part of Microphone Elements, I'm like, dude, I heard Microphone Elements before I heard fucking Comatose.
Yeah, fucking
That's how funny that is.
Arc Pluto.
Yep. That's what I tried to really talk him into doing the interview as all three personas. And he was like, it's not that big of a deal, Adam. I'm like, no, it is. It is, Sam, because like you are a hero among this community.
Yeah, he's one of the bigger like underground artists coming out of here, and
he
has national support.
He does, and I mean, he has national acts that have nothing but praise to say about him, you know, and that's a lot coming from somebody that's so humble. And you know, when you talk to him, you wouldn't know that he ever did national tours and was signed to labels and getting paid and you know, and did that lifestyle for a while. You'd never know that just because of how, and then he just gives back to everybody. Like again, when I found out he did the whole offensive, you know, I was like, wow, what a small world, you know? And again, I found two different artists separately, and then when it comes back, you guys just come back that you guys work together. It was like, no wonder I like everybody.
Curtis mentioned Mr. White, Dustin Matson. He went by Arson Trait, and he's the one who introduced us to Sam because they were in like 3 different groups together. I believe the first one was called The Principles.
Yep.
And old Germ from Lyrical Front, he has that tattooed on his calf.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know he has a Principles tattoo.
Yeah, he got that when he was like 16. Somebody did it in his mom's like kitchen or something like that.
I have them on the books at some time when they can get together to come out for a interview, because again, Lyrical Front was another group I discovered because they were with Black Market Warriors. And
when they did the track on this one, I was just so burned out from it, and I got their files and I was compiling it. I'm like, fucking ruined my CD, man. They fucking ruined my CD. But now that I've kind of stepped away from it and I can actually be objective, I'm like, oh, it's not too bad. It's pretty good actually. Some good lines in it. But it's just like I was disillusioned by what I wanted it to be, so I just fucking ruined my album, man. And even up until we did our CD release, I'm like, you fucking ruined my album. But now I've like listened to it. I'm like, no, it's pretty good. Yeah, I appreciate it. So it's just, that's a big thing for me. Like as soon as I could step away from it, I could appreciate it more than when I was working on it. So I'm becoming a
as
fan
soon
of
as
it
you could
again.
start enjoying it versus making it became, you're like, oh, it's better than I thought.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, we've kind of always been a tight knit family for like ever. We haven't always been on Batcave. We had our own little thing. We called it Genocide Records, and we called our studio the Furnace. It is just it was kind of a classless joke, but I've always liked that puns and stuff, and so when we were able to do punchlines off of this CD, I really enjoyed that. Sorry, because I've always enjoyed a good punchline, but going back, we met Sam and Dave and another guy named Rush One,
Yep.
Brandon,
Shout
I
out
believe
Rush One from Abstract.
but they were all in a group together, and me, Curtis, and another guy we used to rap with he went by Moon Jester, and we all went to a show that they had there in Red Oak, and they kind of hammed it up, and they brought up fistfuls of peanuts and like threw them everywhere and stuff, and it got us it got it so we could no longer book shows at that building, and it was like the only place in town to book shows.
Book shows.
Yeah.
Is that when the move to Hamburg happened?
No, that was years later. I mean, that was 17 years ago, 15 years ago. So it was a long, no, about 18 years ago. So before we had license or anything like that.
That's before some of you guys were even born.
But yeah, we've known Sam that long, and we've known Lyrical Front. Well, 66% of Lyrical Front for most of our life. We've known German Nate and what's his name, Dave. Yeah. Just started referring to him as Kicks in my head, so it's kind of hard to go back
to his real name.
Yeah.
Well, that's hilarious.
But he came in a little bit later, so we haven't known him as long. But I mean, me and Nate, we lived at the same like shitty apartments when we were kids, so
basically neighbors did.
Yeah. I mean, they were real shitty apartments, so. So I mean, we've always been kind of around each other. We had beef when we had a couple of little beefs, but it's just like after a while, just like, yeah, it's stupid high school shit. Just get over it. And since then, we've always just been around each other, and it's just recently, I think a couple of years or a year before this album came out, we signed with Batcave officially. And I mean, we haven't really done much, and then we kind of got the coronavirus, so any momentum we could have had, it just kind of disappeared. So it is what it is. But I mean, I appreciate Germ and Nate and Dave. They've always just been really cool, and they always try to come out and support when they can. And
despite their content of music, they are awesome people.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like, they definitely come off as violent and disgusting human beings in their music, but they are probably three of the coolest people I've met in the scene.
And
like, they're hands down really laid back, cool people.
That's what I was saying at the top of this, is that I have a hard time. Like, I don't mind some of their music, so I'm not gonna say it's them, but it's just like their persona they put on stage, and like whatever, it's not who they are. So I try to get to know the person, but it's just like if I get to feel that the person is the same off the stage as they are on stage, I have a hard time trying to get to know them. And I know it's closed-minded of me, but it's just like I've lived a kind of shitty life, so I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's just you kind of had to grow up quick, so you kind of get a judge for people, and I've always kind of trusted that judgment at face value, and I know it's not necessarily correct, but that's kind of what I've always done. Just, yeah, no, sorry, I went back on that tangent again.
Nope, you're all right. It's your interview, not mine. I did do an interview with Jay Breed the Rebel not too long ago. That'll be dropping just a hair before this one does. He said that Mr. White was one of the first guys to hit him up to book him when he moved to Omaha.
Oh,
Were,
definitely, man.
were you part of that Hamburg show that he first played?
I don't believe so. I was on a hiatus at that time, and then I came back about a year into the Hamburg thing.
Okay.
And that's where I was kind of hitting the bottle a little too hard. Like I would make this jungle juice. It'd be 2 bottles of Everclear, 2 bottles of vodka, a bottle of 99 whatever, like bananas or apples or whatever, and then top it off with fruit punch and like 7-Up, and it just obliterate people. And I made that a couple times out there, and I just I mean, I was drinking entirely way too much at those shows, and like
I actually remember that being advertised down there.
Yeah. And the first time I heard Dig a DJ without being drunk, I'm like, wow, he really is good. Because every time he would perform, I'd be just slosh. So I never, like, it took me 3 years, I think, to hear him sober. And the first time I did, I'm like, wow, he really is good. He's super talented. And it's just, I felt like a tool for that. And I'm just like, yeah, it's probably best that I stay away from the booze. And it's helped my creativity. I'm not looking for a reason to get drunk. I'm just looking for a reason to make music. Before, I was using music as a way to have an excuse to drink.
Can't drink. Yep. I can definitely understand you on that one. That's definitely a something to understand. And again, guys, not knocking people that drink can handle it. Just hear the key words he said. He was using music as an excuse to be able to drink versus using his creativity as an excuse to make music. So sometimes if you are having writer's block and an inability to do things, it might be extracurricular activities that are causing that.
And yeah, I mean, it's fine if you want to do it. You make the music you want to make. That's all it comes down to. You make the music you want to make. I'm gonna make.
Just stay professional at shows, guys.
That doesn't even bother me. I know you got like these standards and practices you live by, but it's just like,
it bothers me when I go to buy something from somebody and they're too drunk to understand what I'm trying to do.
That is understand.
Like, now, if you don't have merch, none of that shit, and you just want to go out there and have fun, that's cool. I don't care if you're drunk or not. But if you're too drunk to sell me merch, and I'm not going to name drop the 27 of you that have done that to me, but, you know, that does drive some people nuts. So let's get on to some fun parts of the interview here, Mr. Red.
All righty.
You can work with 3 people. They can be any kind of genre of music. You can use Dolly Parton, or you can get Fiona Apple, or you can have New Kids on the Block. You can have Prince.
And I would say Michael Jackson. Even despite what's came out to him, I think his music is separate from himself. And
I always tell people separate the human from their work, because sometimes their work is awesome.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 would be my favorite artists. Greaves. I don't know if you know him. Was on Rhymesayers, and he's not on there anymore. But he's probably one of my favorite artists of all time, and his music just kind of tickles that fancy that I have. And then the third is Glass Animals. I don't know if you ever heard of them either.
Never heard of them.
But they kind of do. I bet you have, but they kind of blown up recently. I don't know if you have kids old enough to do the TikTok thing yet or not. But,
Yep, I got a 13-year-old.
yeah, they did the Heat Wave song. Heat Wave been freaking me out.
Okay,
They
I've
did
heard that song.
Yeah, they did that song. So that's Glass Animals, and I've been a fan of them for 7 years now. So I'm not a bandwagoner, damn it. But
Oh shit.
but they kind of always done that psychedelic type style of rock, and and they make really catchy loops.
Okay.
They did this song off of their album before last, Being Human, and it was called Poplar Street, and it was pretty much talking about how he got seduced by a cougar
Huh.
when he was like a kid. But there's a loop in it that I always wanted to sample and make a song out of, but I've just always been too lazy to do it because isolating samples is a pain in the butt for me, and I'm no good at it. So, but it's just they've always made really catchy lines and stuff. So it's something that I would kill the like I always said that if I was gonna go gay, I would go gay for Greaves. And
That's funny. I think they were Grease was just an Omaha not too long ago. I think.
That was probably
or is coming.
a year and a half ago.
I swear I just seen a flyer for it. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just, man time. Last week was 4 years ago.
Yeah, but it comes down to those three off the top of my head. But I mean that could change. Like the bottom two, they'll stay the same until I can't stand them anymore, and that's not in the foreseeable future. But Michael Jackson, that's fluid. It could be Michael Jackson one day and Prince the next, or AC/DC, and it just depends on what's tickling my fancy at the time. But it's just there's a couple that stay solid, and then there's that one at the top that are just kind of it's fluid. Yeah, no, those would be my three off the top of my head.
Solid 3. Let's flip to the next one. It's not on repeat, but anytime music plays, this is the one song you're gonna hear. What is it?
On my track, on my phone or whatever.
Or commercial, or you step on the elevator, turn on the car radio. Anytime music plays, this is the one song you're stuck listening to.
Oh, forever of all time.
Yep. But it's not on repeat. But,
no, it's just anytime music comes on, it's the song. Yep. Against the Bottom by Greaves.
All right. You are the first person to pick that song on repeat that picked it on our stage collab with. I like that.
No, and that song. I went through some dark times every once in a while. Like technically, I think I was depressed and maybe a little suicidal. But it's just I would listen to that song and it just kind of it. I mean, it wouldn't pull me completely out of it, but it keep my head above water. And sometimes that's all you need. You can't always be rescued from the darkness in a single go. Sometimes you just got to keep your head above water.
Yep. Sometimes treading water's all you got.
And I mean, there's a stigma that you need to be better right away, and you don't. Take your time. Don't try to be better overnight because it's not going to work. You're just going to hurt yourself even more. Because
there's no formula for every single person. Some people can feel better the next day. Some people it's a couple months down the line.
I mean, but if you try to force it, and then you backslide, it's just going to be that much worse. So you just kind of got to climb the mountain one step at a time. And maybe it's only 3 steps for your mountain. Maybe it's 100 steps, but you can't try to run to the top of the mountain because inevitably you're going to fall and roll back down it. And
unless you're on the Mountain Dew review, it's only 3.5-inch mountain. That's not too far of a climb or a stumble. Our next fun question. I just thought none of these have actually aired yet. It will start airing here in I think it's King Crimes episode. I started this question. So you get a choice between switching members of a group with another group. So say you want to take Mick Jagger and switch him with Steven Tyler.
Ooh, that's
you know,
hard.
Which would you do and why?
I don't know off the top of my head. There's a lot of bands that I wish didn't exist, but it's
I will accept that answer. I won't make you think any harder.
Like Metallica, I hate Metallica, and I hate Five Finger Death Punch. Just
I'll take the answer as you can't replace anything because they just suck. I like that one. I will take that. Five Finger Death Punch is definitely one of them that I think I know a lot of people enjoy them, and I just find them to be so irritating. Like, I don't know why. I've seen them live like 3 times too, and they're just one of the bands that I think, like, keep doing covers because the only reason people are going to listen to you is because you're doing covers now.
I've been to 2 of their concerts, and I haven't seen them play once. I always dip out before they go.
Like, they were playing, and I just didn't really pay attention. That was when I was in the beer line, you know? like it was just like, you know, you just don't, I don't know. All right, so final question then.
Yeah, no, what's your final question? I'll let you go to bed. You seem tired.
This new job, sandblasting. So my work got screwed over by an estimator we had working for us. He got passed over on a promotion, so he cooked our books and lied to everybody about how much work we had. And then by the time we discovered what contracts actually weren't, it fucking, you know, like, just screwed us. So now there's like about 4 weeks where we don't have solid work. And of course, I've only been at this company for a year, but I've been in the union for 5. So I get laid off, but I went back to the other union company I worked for, and it's sandblasted out in the cold, and with my broken thumb and holes still being in my thumb, because where they put the pins, I guess them holes will never heal.
Yeah.
I just got 3 holes in my bones, and I'll tell you what, I can feel the cold get in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, it get crampy and shit, and then that blast hose is 64,000 psi of sand coming out. So I'm just like, I can tell I broke this thumb 9 weeks ago.
I remember a part of your interview with Curtis. You guys talked about backyard wrestling, and I was gonna bring it up when I came on, but I don't know if you can see this right there. I got this bar, and it goes all the way down, comes down here. Trash can. I tried jumping on Curtis while he was pinning somebody, and I went right over him and just gashed my face open and gushing blood.
Don't tell me wrestling's not real, goddammit. I've wrestled before.
I thought you'd get a chuckle out of that, but it's just...
Yeah, that's why my ear split right here. My brother hit me in the ear with a 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire because we didn't realize those weren't real 2x4s and they weren't real barbed wire.
They held back when they hit.
Oh yeah, they didn't hit you at 700 miles an hour.
Whack!
My brother, oh, you're not gonna knock out? Let me really knock you out.
Yeah. Curtis talked about all his concussions and stuff, but I got that gash and it's never healed all the way. And it was gushing blood, and Buddy at the time was like, "Get back out there! Pain is temporary, pride is forever." And I'm like, I pulled my hand away from my face, and I have a handful of blood dripping down on the ground. I'm like, what?
Like, I'm only gonna remember this because my face is fucked up.
You fucking throwing no fear fucking shirt quotes at me, fucking gushing blood out my fucking face. I don't want to hear that shit. Keep your fucking.
Oh, I just pictured a big old fucking dually with that on the back with two old fucking smokestacks rising out now. No fear. All right, so Mr. Red, for my final question, you get 7 words to describe what you would want to do with your music.
I don't think I need 7. I might need 7. I don't know. Make myself and people happy. That's
I'll take it.
I mean, my solo stuff, that's not gonna make anybody happy. It's dark and it's moody, and that's why I don't perform it. It's all dark and moody, and like I don't want to fucking. I tried performing it one time. I performed it one time, and it was just terrible. It just room went silent, and it just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So
there's
Black Market Warriors. I just want to make myself and people happy.
And I'll tell you what, it does. It's again, Mr. White has been coming out a couple times to the Wired Pub, and I'll tell you, or like when he performed in my backyard, I had my 60-year-old coworker, dirty hippie, old union painter guy out there. And out of the 9 acts that performed that night, that was the one that he couldn't stop talking about. The guy with the fat kid dance. I don't know what it was, Adam. I hate rap music, but I just wanted to wiggle with them.
And then that's the thing. We don't make the rap of today. We make the rap of yesteryears, and that's why it's hard for us to get traction, because we refuse to sell out, and we make the music we want to make. We don't make the music 30 other people in the surrounding areas making. So I mean, I'm not shitting anybody. Make the music you want to make. Love y'all.
No, and it's again, it's all subject to, just because 1 or 2 people don't like it, don't mean 10 others won't somewhere. Everybody. And again, there's people out here I support that I do not like your music. I'm not a fan of that style. Again, I'll reiterate, hip hop and rap is not my favorite genre of music. I grew up on Grateful Dead and rock and roll, and I'm a Manson fan and alternative music, and like I got an alternative band tattooed on me. I mean, honestly, I'd rather go see people with live instruments.
Which one? Which one?
What?
Which alt band?
Arrested Youth.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I got a Hatchet Man, and then I got Smoke Break tattooed above my ass. So
yeah. No,
I don't know. I'm a mixed bag, but
I went to an alt concert they had there in Council Bluffs at the West Fair a few years back. So I'm a big fan of alt music too. They had ska punk. Oh, I love ska punk.
A lot. You can never not get me to not want to skank. Mighty Boss Tones came to Omaha like 3 or 4 years ago, and I posted it on my Facebook, and I tagged my wife, and I said, Sarah Faye Malberg, let's go skank. And she didn't know that when you dance to ska, it's called skanking. And she thought I was calling her a skank. And it was just one of them awkward things where I'm like, I really don't want to have to explain myself because I'm not sure who I married now.
Well, I've never heard that term either. So
You've never heard that either?
No. But I mean,
maybe I was just really big into it back in the day. That is just my.
You're committed,
my thing.
Man. You're committed. You got your tattoo.
Well, like I was a big fan of No Doubt and stuff before they blew out. I got to see No Doubt at Ranch Bowl. And I got to see freaking Goldfinger at the Ranch Bowl, and just so many of these good ska bands there that now Curtis
got to see people at the Ranch Bowl, and I started going to shows a little too late. I think
Late.
we went to 2 shows at the Ranch Bowl before they closed down, and then just
See, I grew up not too far from the Ranch Bowl. Like that was on 72nd and Pine. I grew up on 55th and Pine, so we
Yeah.
literally ride our skateboards there. And when you got into the Ranch Bowl, they stamped your hand, you know. So I just lick your hand and slap it on the back of somebody else, and I'd go in there and sneak in and see Noise Wave.
yeah. So
You know,
I mean,
that's like, and I mean, anybody knows Ranch Bowl, like, fuck Walmart, sons of bitches. I miss
but that's your influence. So I don't begrudge you, but I definitely appreciate your support because
and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love music and I love most of the music I support, you know. And if I don't love your music, I love you guys. Like
that's exactly it.
You know, like
But
I just
I
want to
can't-
make you guys happy.
I can't look you in the face and be like, I like your music. I'm like, I like your performance.
I will look you dead in the eye and say, there's somebody out there that likes your music.
That works too. But
Because
I
I'm
mean,
not lying to you, because I guarantee you there's somebody out there that likes your music. That way I'm always telling you the truth.
yeah,
but-
no.
Mr. Red, to wrap it up, I want to thank you for taking this time coming out. Thanks for doing this on Skype. I know you don't get out and go too far and venture, and you're down there in Red Oak. And
No,
It
I've always
it was
been
my
advertised.
pleasure doing this. Hopefully, sooner or later, next time there's a show down there, I get off my ass and actually make it down there.
I mean, we're not worth it. We really aren't. And I mean,
Oh,
I know
It's
Curtis
worth it
likes
to me.
I know Curtis likes having the bodies in the door, but it's just like I don't feel comfortable for people to drive an hour to come see us do our fucking 20 minutes set and just fucking make an ass of ourselves.
I drove 4 hours to Kansas City to watch a 20-minute opener set and then leave before the headliner went on.
Yeah, but I
Because
just
I like the opener. So,
we always fuck up, and I don't feel like we're worth the squeeze. I mean, buy our CD, yeah, that's well made. Come see us, have fun, but I mean, I don't know. I don't
It's
feel
a
like
fun
I'm
time.
worth it.
It's a
I don't feel
fun
like I'm
time.
worth it.
Either way, Mr. Red, you are worth it because guess what? You are officially
Right on the face.
tramp stamp
Right on
approved.
the face. Right on the face.
We got 2 of them.
There you go.
Mr. Red is officially tramp stamp approved. That means the entire Good Vibes for Bad Times have now officially been on the Mountain Dew review and are tramp stamp approved.
I really appreciate you having me on here. I've been wanting to talk to you for a while, and I appreciate the hour or so we spent just kind of you let me ramble because I don't really get a chance to talk about music like this too often. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's 100% what this is for. This isn't my podcast. This is our podcast. This is for you guys to come on.
I don't
and
want to
express-
share it. It's mine.
Express how you feel. Well,